Hey guys, Timmy here, and today I have some exciting stuff to share with the community. Since the beginning of Alpha, I've been messing with digging in the files and extracting the assets and the models and animations for you all to make some cool content for the community. And one thing that we've had issues with forever is being able to try to extract full resolution textures for our models and stuff. So I have made a few videos helping people out on how to extract things, and I actually had a few people comment. Actually, one or two people commented they were able to extract um, the full resolution textures, and they really didn't give me much to go on. One guy said that he was using a software called Umod, and I started googling around, looked into it, and I actually figured out what he was talking about, and actually used it for myself, and it was successful. It actually worked. We're getting 2048 by 2048 resolutions for the body textures of the characters, and then 1024 by 1024 for the heads. It's so much better than what we were getting when we were using the U model extraction method. So big shout out to Mercurio Mao. I'm probably butchering your name. I'm sorry. And Marilith 2005. Um, Thank you guys so much for just mentioning that. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to show y'all how to extract the textures, but first I want to show you a little bit of what it's going to look like once you're able to extract them. I've threw together a little scene here in UDK just to show you the high resolution versions and show you how much better they look than what we were getting with those blotchy blob textures that we used to get with the old extraction method. So I mean, if it just looks so much better, and people are going to be able to make like interesting overlays for streams, interesting things for their YouTube channels, intros and stuff. And while we're looking at this, I just want to say something for anyone that's going to be using Androxus and wants to set him up with his pistol here, his revolver, in the future. Um, if you don't know, the weapons are all stored in the device UPKs, so that's where you're going to be going to look. I can't remember the exact number for his, but you'll find it in there. And the interesting thing, if you look at his face there, you'll notice there's something kind of translucent floating in front of his face. That's actually his weapon. The model for his weapon is a big dragon like his ultimate weapon instead of the revolver. It's just the big monstrous thing, and then inside of that monstrous mouth is the actual revolver. So you have two separate materials that you have to apply to the model. So you apply the high resolution textures to the revolver on the inside, but on the outside you have to create a translucent, transparent material to apply to that part of the material so that you could see the actual revolver inside. It took me a long time, about an hour, to figure out what was going on because I could not find the revolver like they used to be able to just find the revolver and it had its own model, but now it's different. So if anyone's having trouble, that should help you out a lot, save you a lot of time because they are the same model. They're one and the same. You just have to give the outside layer a transparent material so you can't see it. Um, and I did add a couple of these newer characters in here just to show that the textures are there and it's available. I know that I probably didn't compile all the textures completely correctly, but they still look really really good, a lot better than what we were getting. And I'll say that this guy, I know he has the awesome staff, the awesome snake staff. I did import it and get it all working, but the issue was rigging it to his hand properly and with the animations and everything of the snake along with the animations of the character. It didn't seem to work right. So maybe I'll figure it out later on. But if you are going to be using these in UDK, I do have a tutorial that will show you. I'll put that in the link in the description down below or in the eye in the sky on the video for you mobile users. And it does show you how to import the models and the textures and stuff into UDK. Nowadays they have the model cut up into different sections. So for instance, this guy, I think it's Shaylin, I'm not sure. The body is separate from the hair and the eyes and the mouth, so you have to rig it to the body so the animations work together. And then also the weapons are also separate, so you have to rig the model to the main body model to make them all work. And it doesn't look exactly perfect. I'm sure people that are more experienced with UDK than I am should be able to get it to work properly. But yeah, this is for my purposes for now. I just wanted to show y'all what it looked like, and this is what's going on. So I'm pretty excited to show you all that. And I wanted to show you right quick before I show you the method of doing it. I wanted to show you a comparison of the textures that we are getting now compared. So Androxus, we're going to take a look at one of the. So this is one of the original textures that we were getting when using the UModel method of extraction textures. So that's about the size that you would get. It's stripped down to 64 by 64. So if we go back here, we can open the exact same texture here with the new method, and this is the new size that we're getting, and this is actually half of the actual size. As you can see, it's 52%. So if I was to do 100%, this is actually closer to the actual size. So you can imagine how much more detail that gives you in game, or whenever you're doing animations and stuff. So it's such a great thing that's happened. So okay, let's go ahead and get to actually doing it. So you'll notice this folder here on my desktop. It's Umod revision 53. If you're going to look for it yourself, I may or may not put a link in the description. I haven't decided yet. But if I don't, you can go to Google, search for Umod version 2.0 or Umod revision 53. It just took me a couple minutes to find it. It's not a big deal. Once you have it, got it extracted. Go ahead and go to the folder you have it extracted to. Now with Paladins, I'm using Windows 10 64-bit, so I had to make sure I run Umod as administrator, and it will pop up. Let me go ahead and drag it over here so you guys can see. Alright, and the first thing you're going to want to do as soon as you open Umod, the first thing you need to do is click on main, then make sure use global hook is checked. If it's not checked, then it won't work at all. It's because the game Paladins is a launcher game. You have to use a launcher to start the game, so that's the option that you have to enable to make it work right. The second thing you need to do is find your Paladins game. Make sure you run it as administrator as well. Both things have to be running as administrator or they will not work. They won't pick up on each other at all. I have mine in Windows mode now just because it's more convenient for what we're doing right now. So the launcher just popped up on my other screen. I'm just going to click play, and as soon as it loads up here, I'll drag it over to where you guys can see it. And now you'll notice on the Umod that I have a Paladins tab there now. Alright, and so that means it's picked it up, and I'm going to drag it over here so you guys can see. Hopefully it's not too big. Alright. Okay, so now you can see that it says normal texture up here. That means that everything has loaded properly. And once that it's loaded, you have to go back to your Umod, and basically the first time you load it, you'll have to select all your options. So make sure you have save single texture checked, show texture in the upper left corner checked, show message in the upper left corner checked. And so you can skip font color or text color. You can change that if you want. It's just a customizable thing. It's up to you. But you do have to set these. These are the ways that you navigate through the textures within the game when it's loaded. So for me, I'm going to go ahead and change mine now. So to go back, I'm going to press the left arrow key. To save, I'm going to press the number pad 5. And then for next, I'm going to do the right arrow key. Next, you go down to whatever kind of image type you want the textures to be saved as. PNG is kind of the best because it's just a better compressions method. It's a smaller file and it's still good quality, so it's what I choose. You can pick anything that you want, and then of course you can check the directory. Make sure that when you set your directory to save the textures, make sure that the directory exists. So go there and make sure the folder is actually there, because if it's not, it will not save properly. It just won't save. So just make sure the directory exists before you select it. Alright, after you have that all set, what you want to do is close the game back out. I'm not going to do it because I already have mine set up. But close the game and then start it again. Make sure you run it as administrator, because the settings won't take place until you do that. Alright, so now that you're in the game and you can cycle through, this is me cycling through. You can see the textures as I cycle through. Now this texture, I know it may seem like a troll, but I swear to you all, this is in the textures of the game. I don't know if the developers are just being crazy like they usually are, but it's there. So as you're cycling through, it will actually highlight the textures that you find. But if you're looking for a particular texture for, let's say, try to get buck, go to buck, and then cycle through the textures. And what I like to do is basically just hold it in and let it cycle through really quickly, because the great thing about this method is it will highlight the textures that it's selecting. So if you cycle through this really fast and you just keep an eye on buck, once it gets to the textures for his skin, it will highlight his texture and he will glow green, and that's how you know that you have him. So for instance, right here, it's showing me a texture of the ambient, like I guess the air or whatever, the glow in the scene where the lobby is there. So that's the reason everything was highlighted green there. And so you can just hold it in and keep letting it going until you see it. Honestly, it could be a little bit tedious. It really can, but this is the only method that I've found whatsoever, and I've been trying to figure it out for a while. No one's come in the community that's really shown any ways to do it, and we're getting like full resolution textures for these, so it's worth it. It just takes a few minutes usually. So let's see if we can find the textures here right quick, and I'll show you exactly what to do once you found one. Alright, so here we go. We found the textures for the gun. So I'm going to go ahead and save that. So if we want to do a whole buck rig everything with his weapon and everything. As you can see, it highlighted the whole weapon whenever we found the main texture, and that's probably the diffuse layer, which gives it most of its color. Okay, so this is interesting. Buck's hair and eyes are also different. So you can see it's highlighting his eyes and his hair. So I'm going to save all the textures that go with his eyes and hair. So whenever I import it into something like UDK or 3ds Max, I'll be able to take those textures and combine them to make a material that I can apply to the model that will give me the look that I want. So let's see. Alright, there we go, and there is the whole buck texture. As you can see, his whole body is highlighted green. You can see it there. It's a rather large texture. That's about 2048 by 2048, and that's the diffuse layer. Like I said, that's the one that you're going to be using mostly. The other layers that you'll get, like this one, you can try to figure out ways to plug them into your material, and it will give it a more sense of depth and react better in lighting. But it's something that you're gonna have to work with and have experience to get it to work. So yeah, that's pretty much it. So once you have the textures, go ahead and close your game. You can also go ahead and close your Umod, and it will take you back to the folder where your Umod was, or if it doesn't, you can locate where you extracted your Umod to that folder. Now go to your textures, or wherever you chose to extract your textures, that's where you'll go. And now you'll see that it's populated with all these new textures in here that are extremely high resolution, and there's Buck. We could throw him together. All we have to do is use the UModel method to extract the models and animations. I do have a link to that in the description for you all as well if you need to figure out how to use UModel to get it all out and get it together. But I was very, very, very excited to find this out, guys. We've been waiting for so long to figure it all out, and I was excited to let you all in on it and see what you can come up with now. Full resolution textures, it's finally possible. I'll say that I'll try to upload the models and the textures that I have already. I think we may need to get the community together to see if we could maybe organize the textures and name them, and just for a resource for everyone to get to. If you all need any help with that, just let me know. I'm kind of a busy dude right now. I'm trying to get my business started up in real life, but all the time that I have, I'll try to help you guys out as much as I can. Sorry for the long video. Thanks for stopping by. I really hope this helped, guys. Peace.